Thank you.
Thank you very much. We continue our tour around the globe, and we arrive in India with Tobby Simon, who is the founder and chairman of the Synergia Foundation. You have the floor.
Thank you, Dominic. I must thank all of you for having the patience on an afternoon at this time to listen. Let me just try to share a few of my thoughts. The discussions that we had in the last 3 days rightfully focused on the issues of key global governance in North Asia, Northeast Asia, Eurasia, Europe, and the Americas. With the permission of the chair, I will take about 8 minutes to expand the construct and speak about a smaller part of the world, which houses about 1.8 billion people and constitutes 40% of the Asian population, a region comprising Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, and Maldives. So why is this important? In a globalized and wired world, strategic issues that affect about 2 billion people from very diverse backgrounds, both cultural and religious, and home to two of the largest religions, Buddhism and Hinduism, would naturally affect the region and globe. In addition, we had a very strong footprint of Islam for more than 1,000 years. Going forward, you have another important vector, that the center of gravity of the internet and the cyber is moving to Asia. In about the next 10, 15 years, there would be more number of internet users in India and China than you put the rest of the world together. I would like to focus on two issues, which I believe is core to global governance these days. The first one is on human security, meaning protecting the fundamental life and value of the individual. If you had to look at the 10 threats which John Manley yesterday alluded to from a report of the World Economic Forum as the 10 threats for 2015, it's very interesting. If you see, it's again, I will read it once more. It's deepening income inequality, jobless growth, lack of leadership, rising geostrategic competition, weakening of democracy, pollution, severe weather events, increasing nationalism, water wars, and health. If you say more than 70% of it has to do with the security of the individual. It's no more territorial issues. It's about the individual. All these challenges and threats that has been listed in 2015 are those that South Asia has been facing for the last 15 to 20 years. I mean, since 2000, this has been some of the biggest issues we have. Now, look at the interconnectedness between these issues. I would take logging, which is a basic industry in this part of the world, as an example. Logging along the Burma Road. You know, what does happen? It's basically loss of forest cover, which affects watersheds, which cause flooding later. Drugs, they're smuggled in the logs. HIV and AIDS, because truck drivers visit prostitutes while traveling. Malaria and other communicable diseases, which are spread during logging and deforestation. Industrial pollution. Organized crime associated with mining along the roads. And military concerns. Logging roads provide connectivity, which is a problem in most border areas. I mean, and this is the connect. It's one event, but if you look at it, it has got geopolitical impact. For example, drugs. Today, drugs is the single largest threat to to national security for a number of countries. And the second point I would like to focus is on the need to build trust politics, which was spoken by the South Korean President, Madam Park. Nowhere is this more needed than in South Asia. If you look at the inter-trade relationship in Asia, it goes about 56 to 60%. But in South Asia, it is less than 5%. And the prime reason is the issue that was spoken about yesterday, the conflict in trade and politics. And look at the other issues that are coming by, which can have global impact. Number one is Afghanistan. Stabilizing Afghanistan should be in the immediate interest of all, because Afghanistan has been the cradle of a large number of conflicts since Alexander invaded it in 321 BC. The second is the Persian Gulf, Persian and the Middle East region. Regional stability in this region is extremely important, and the success of moderate regimes is extremely important to ensure that there is no clash of civilization that has been propounded by a number of people. I mean, you look at events in Syria unfolding in Bombay, where just day before yesterday we had 5 young engineers. I mean, they didn't even tell their parents. They just went there. They were all bright children, playing sport, never had a chance of meeting anybody religious in India, but they just left. Saw something in the internet that disturbed them, and they flew, went to Iraq, and then went into Syria. Look at moving onwards into Philippines, into Indonesia, into Malaysia. I mean, there are plenty of incidents, and unless we are able to look at it from a larger perspective, trying to sort of, plugging one leak, you would open up another flashpoint. Look at the Sino-Indo relationship. Most of the people are talking about the border issues, but we have an even bigger issue in the Indo-Chinese problem, which is the damming of the Brahmaputra River, which is the source of water for India and Bangladesh. So over the last 5 or 8 years, the Chinese have been damming those rivers at a very high level, which can cause flooding in this part. So that could be a huge issue, which can affect the entire Asian region. From a climate change perspective, it is estimated that by 2050, more than 8 of the big cities in Asia wouldn't exist, including Mumbai, Colombo, Maldives, Bangladesh, you name Karachi, they may not be there because of global warming and rising of waters. What about healthcare? Due to global warming, we have a big issue. Most of the diseases that were proprietary to the southern hemisphere is moving into the northern hemisphere. Look at TB and malaria. You have strange, multi-resistant diseases moving into these countries, which people are finding extremely difficult to counter. So let me conclude by saying that challenges that seem very endemic to a region can have huge geopolitical impact, and I just wanted to share that this is something that we should not overlook. Thank you.